ladies and gents, goblins and dwarves. Welcome to another sort of defense tutorial. This one is a little bit more. Um, I would not say I don't think it's advanced, but it's a little bit more complicated. There's a little bit more to it than so your typical wall and bridge and keep the enemy out sort of thing. Maybe with yourself having an upper level with fortifications for Mox dwarves. It is what it is. But basically, what this method takes advantage of is enemies sort of the way that they map themselves and the way that they choose their routes. And they will always choose the shortest route and always the simplest route. So basically what happens is if you raise this bridge, there's no way into this fortress. There's no easy way into this fortress unless you can fly. Which unfortunately some enemies can, and there are complete different mechanics and guides and plans for that sort of thing. But we're not going to focus on flying enemies today. We're going to focus on like your typical invasion, so humans, goblins, elves, even other dwarves, and things like that. So what you need to do in this sort of for this plan is to give them an alternative entrance. So I just do a ones rather than 2 or 3 wide because you don't need to take it. You want them walking single file essentially. So what I do is I will come up with a path. So there will be another entrance. We're going to connect to this little stairway here eventually, but for that, let's just dig it out. So 3 wide. Why not? Let's just dig this section out and give it a big block. And what we're going to do here is we're going to build ourselves a sort of a winding labyrinth. Now, don't build a labyrinth. As I said, the enemies, they will know which way to go. There's no point making a way having numerous winding passages that lead to dead ends and traps and things. You're so much better just having yourself something like this, which is a sort of up and down, windy, snaky side of things that will just slow them down as best as it can, and you can have traps at every block basically. You will have a trap on it ultimately by the end of it, and that's the best way to do it. You can do as much of a zigzag as you want. Doesn't matter at all because it's just a case of the more blocks that they walk over that are trapped, the better. The longer the journey through here, the better. That's basically the top and bottom of it. And that's the plan that we're going to be running with today. So as we do this, wind it through here. Yeah, okay, so this is the section that we're nearly there. So we're going to have them run along corridor here, and then we'll just have them do a couple of zigzags as well, just to slow them down a little bit more, make their journey a little bit longer. Absolutely fine. We'll zigzag along here. And this plan, like, it works with everybody sort of. I don't think I've been invaded properly when I've had to use this sort of method, unless it was like a dragon or something, but that was a completely different story. So yeah, now we're down here, which is where we want it to be. So you can see the guys, they'll come. So we pull the drawbridge up. There's no way in here, so the enemies will instead think, we'll go this way. And then they will essentially come through here into these winding passages, hitting stonefall traps, cage traps, weapon traps, all of it. Every step of the way is going to be booby trapped ultimately by the end. I'm not going to probably get through that in the video because it will take a while, especially as I've only got 16 dwarves, but you will get the gist of it. And then, okay, cool. So now we're here. This is where we want to be. And this also needs itself to have a secondary defense. So we are. What's the best way to do this? Well, we'll do it this side. We'll come in from the bottom. Drag it down to. Yeah, why not? I want us to have a training room. So a barracks here. We'll have our barracks here. And what I also want is this section. So what we'll do is we'll just have it all the way up here as well. Why not? We want them to be a fighting. So where's the kill box going to be? I think the kill box is best if it's here. Yeah, okay. So we'll have a box like this maybe. And they'll be running through here. Yes, yeah, that's fine. We're going to dig this section out, and then we will have here, maybe to this. And then through here, another connecting door. Yeah, yes. So where do we want to do it? So what we also have to do, guys, we're going to want to have ourselves a ultimate backup. So we want a bridge, another drawbridge. We're going to put a drawbridge in here somewhere. This section is probably the best place to put the bridge, actually, because ultimately, just in case everything does go wrong, you want to have yourself a defense. You want to be able to not get screwed up by a massive invading goblin army that somehow gets past all of these traps. It's overkill, this method, especially with this many blocks that are going to be trapped. There's no goblin armies really realistically going to be getting through here and then able to survive my dwarves. That's just not going to happen, unfortunately for them. So I tell you what, this might take a little while. I will just be back once my dwarves have dug this out. Okay, guys, so our dwarves have dutifully dug out this entire sandy pathway that we needed to be dug, as we can see. Here, unfortunately, because it's made of sand, we can't smooth and then carve fortifications, so I had to dig out this section and then build the fortifications manually, which is completely fine. You could even set this up as an archery range or have an archery range here, but this is where the Marks dwarves are going to go, so when they do finally come through, they'll get like maybe 2 or 3 seconds to shoot at the things that make their way through. And then this is going to be the kill box where our barracks is, and this is where we're going to build our bridge. So we're going to do that now. We go to constructions, go into bridge, and we want it to draw this way. Well, either way, it doesn't really matter, but we want it drawing in this way, so I'm going to put it there. And then some dwarfs will run along and start building this. We also are going to need a lever, so we'll put a lever there, that's fine. And then we just move on to the final stages of this little setup. And that is the traps. So the easiest trap to put in is going to be the stonefall traps and the cage traps. So we will just place a few of these now. And just quickly, a couple of things to cover basically is these stretches here. The long stretches, or like these long stretches here, are where you're going to kill the most. The way that the dwarves work is, or anything in Dwarf Fortress that can move in along one block, is they will move along here, but they'll not stand here. They will go diagonal, dun 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 dun. So these 2 blocks here are kind of like a waste of time. So don't waste your stuff putting them in the corners. Just put them along here. Put one there as well. The enemies will have to stand there. Basically, there's no way to get around it. And then they'll have to stand here as well. So there, you're going to be, the corners are basically your kill boxes as well. So yes, the stretches are very, very good, but so are the corners sections. These corners here. So we will do that. We are going to put a stonefall trap on all of these up junctions that we have. I've skipped a couple there. And then we will put, yeah, see, this corner here is not a point. We might as well do that. Put them there, 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 put them there. Doosh, 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 doosh. And that's going to be basically the setup that we're going to have for these stonefall traps. So if we come out of that and we go back into the traps, we'll see some of the others that you need. So for cage traps, you obviously need cages, and for the weapon traps, you also obviously need weapons. So for them, we are going to go to the manager screens just because it's easier to use. We're just going to go cage, and I'm more than happy to use wood for them, and we're just going to scale up, I don't know, 20. And then we're also going to need discs. There we go. Large serrated discs. So I haven't, in this new fort, got the iron and forges all going yet. As you can see, it's still very, very early days for this outpost. It's only got 16 people. But what I would normally go for is the large serrated iron discs, and I would use them for my weapons traps here, which, they're sort of like they're the most Indiana Jones, I suppose, of the traps. They'll come out of the floors like a big iron disc, and they'll just like cut people in two and things like that. You can use any weapon, but I just have a preference for the serrated iron discs for these things. So what we're going to do is we're going to just carry on layering this up with some stonefall traps, leaving a couple of spaces here and there for cage traps, because sometimes it's very good to be able to capture a goblin and just punish them, put them in an arena, or just drown them, or trade them, basically. You can sell them into slavery if you really want. And as I've just run out of mechanisms as well, so that's annoying. So we'll go down and we will find my mechanic, who is here, and we're going to have him make rock mechanisms on repeat. Yes. But, and we can see here the bridge has been built, so we're going to go lever, link the lever, need accessible mechanism. Oh, so it all comes back to mechanisms. Make sure you've got a healthy supply of mechanisms. I thought I did, but clearly I did not have as many as I thought. But even this little setup here, this it doesn't need to be as long as or winding as this. It just depends what you want to do. Even this little setup here, you can see with the with these sort of pressure plates with the stones, this would be a nightmare for even a decent sized invasion force. But the stonefall traps do work best when they have other traps alongside them. So here I did say that there's a waste of time putting them on the corners. What a stonefall trap will do is a goblin will come along and trigger this stonefall trap, and it will have a chance to dive out of the way. And this goblin will dive like this direction, or it'll dive backwards to miss, the big storm fun that's going to fall down and crush it. They don't always miss it, especially on narrow passages like this, but you could realistically put a trap every single corner, because yes, they might not normally stand here, but if it triggered this trap, and it would dive forward and it would miss this, and then fine, and then it would trip, dive forward, miss. It's not ideal, and also these traps are not resettable. They don't get reset automatically. They will, like the weapon traps. The weapon traps will just come up and cut you in two, and then go back down, and then go up, cut you in two. I'm pretty sure they don't need to be reset, but that's why you need plenty of these stonefall traps, because every time you trigger one, a dwarf has to come reset it, which is obviously not ideal during an invasion. This would be my barracks, and so I get attacked by goblins, I would pull up this drawbridge so there's no way in. They've got enemies would then decide to route through here. Obviously this section will be layered with traps. Fight all the way through, or survive all the way through. Couple of cage traps, couple of serrated iron discs, stonefall traps. Then they get into here. And then this section here is where I'd have some marks dwarves waiting, and they would fire through these fortifications at them. And then in here you will have the drawbridge powered by this lever, and in here it was going to be the barracks, where so there's always going to be some guys training, and they can just come through here, and this is be where the main bloodbath takes place, and on the white sand cavern floor. My mini gladiator arena, basically. And quite often it never goes that simple and straightforward, and the fighting will spill out, and the fighting will spill through here, and the fighting will come through there. The marks dwarves will rush around, and they'll start clubbing them with their crossbows that they have, but ultimately that's the main defense form, and it's very effective, to be honest, once it's all fully complete. So yeah, that's kind of the maze labyrinth defense that I use, guys, and I hope that even if you don't use it exactly, you take some sort of inspiration from it. Hopefully I will get an example of when this gets attacked, and I can record that probably for you and show you, put this on as well with a actual demonstration attack. But for now, this is going to be it. So I hope that helped, guys. If you yourselves have any sort of unique or interesting defense systems, I'm more than happy to hear. I want to read them. Please comment below. Let me know. So yeah, bye.